How will the rest of them get out? And what about reports that a U.S. drone strike in Kabul did not kill an ISIS threat? But according to a New York Times report, a longtime worker for a U.S. aid group, 7 children were reportedly killed as well. And lastly, what happens in Afghanistan now? With the U.S. gone, will China, Russia, and Iran line up to fill that void? And that is where we start tonight, as we mentioned, with Congressman Michael McCaul, ranking member on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, it's great to have you with us. I think we watched these hearings with the expectation of some fireworks. We didn't necessarily get a lot of them today. Did you get what you wanted out of it?
Not really. We asked them to guarantee that all Americans left behind enemy lines would be brought out of Afghanistan, but there's no way we can accomplish that. We have nobody on the ground. Our military's gone. Our intelligence community is gone from Afghanistan. And now we have to rely on the Taliban to get them out. In addition, the interpreters who worked with our special forces and put their lives on the line have been left behind, and they're pretty much under a death sentence. The Taliban will execute them. They are doing that as I speak. So it's a grave concern. You know, why do we withdraw the military before all of our American citizens? Why did we leave them behind? And how can we get them out now that we have no presence whatsoever in Afghanistan? How will we get them out, Congressman? Did you ask the Secretary of State that? At one point, I know he said, as we mentioned, there were 30 or so who got out. Do we know how many are left? There are many left, hundreds left. The Mazar-e-Sharif airport, we have Americans trying to get on planes there. The Taliban will not allow them to leave. We think they have a price on their head. They're trying to negotiate perhaps legitimacy from our government. And so these discussions, we have to negotiate with the Taliban. We are at the mercy of the Taliban. And I think, Joe, most concerning to me is that when Bagram shut down, so did all of our intelligence capability. It's called ISR capability, where we could have eyes and ears on the ground in Afghanistan to see and then take out the threats. That's gone. We don't have that anymore. And we also can't see Russia, China, and Iran. This poses a grave national security threat. And I asked the Secretary, why didn't he negotiate to put it in a nearby country? It came up that perhaps Putin discouraged President Biden from doing so, but that would have to be talked about behind closed doors. It raised actually a lot more questions, quite frankly, than answers. And I do worry about China coming in and basically filling the void. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. I do want to play another clip from the hearing today, Congressman. We played yours at the beginning where you talked about surrendering to the Taliban, and one of your colleagues, Brad Sherman, brought it up later. Here's what he said, and we'll get your comment after.
The ranking member says that he never thought he'd see an unconditional surrender of the United States to the Taliban. He saw it in 2020 when President Donald Trump announced that we'd be out by May 1st of 2021.
So is there an element of truth to both of what you said, Congressman, do you think?
Well, you know, this president wants to blame everybody but himself. He made the decision. He owns it. When you look at the February 2020 agreement, it was conditions-based. I talked to Secretary Pompeo, National Security Advisor O'Brien. It was always based on conditions on the ground. They had to cut ties with al-Qaeda, which they haven't done. They couldn't attack the provincial capitals, which they have done. And there would be a response. So this idea that, you know, Biden's pretty much rescinded everything else the former president did, but this one he blames on the president, and it was condition-based. I would say that when President Biden gave this April time frame with no conditions and a date certain, that became a surrender document, and the Taliban prepared for it. And quite frankly, the intelligence community warned us that it would happen very quickly and very rapidly. And they were actually correct in their analysis.
That's interesting you bring that up, Congressman, because to me, from the outside looking in, you obviously know a lot more than I do. That appears to be the miscalculation that led to everything that happened. The miscalculation that those Afghan troops would hold up for longer than they did, certainly for the days that they did.
Well, that's right. And I think the president overrode his top generals. but also the intelligence community. I had these briefings in the classified space without getting into detail, but they pretty much predicted everything that happened. That was the Taliban would take over the country, that the Afghan army, without our air support, would fall, and that our embassy would be in jeopardy. And that happened, maybe a little bit faster than they thought, but it happened. And I fault the administration for not listening to the warnings, but rather the Politico people in the White House. This is really probably more of a political decision than a military intelligence-based decision.
Let's talk about this New York Times report that calls into question one of the U.S. drone strikes in Kabul, saying it wasn't, in fact, an ISIS target, but a longtime worker for a U.S. aid group carrying water, not missiles. How will we get to the bottom of this?
Well, it's kind of hard when you have no presence. And this really demonstrates the problem now with our ISR capabilities, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. If we can't even get it right when we have a presence on the ground, how in the world are we going to hit a target that is a threat, a future bin Laden, if you will, or al-Qaeda that's going to have an external operation? How can we have any accuracy without anybody on the ground, both military or intelligence?
You touched on the void, Congressman. Russia, China, and Iran apparently lining up to fill that. What worries you the most about what happens moving forward? And do you think we should eventually establish or reestablish the embassy there?
Well, that'd be great, but we've surrendered the embassy. And on the 20th anniversary of 9/11, they raised the jihadist Taliban flag or painted it on the embassy and raised it over the presidential palace. So right now we're going to have an ad hoc embassy, if you will, in Doha, which is very far away from Afghanistan. And I do worry because this has weakened our position in the world, our standing. It's weakened our alliances with our NATO partners, and it's emboldened our enemies. I think the Russians, Chinese, and Iran are the winners, along with the radical jihadists that have now a major recruiting tool to recruit more terrorism in Afghanistan under the rule of the Taliban. And who are these people that are now in the government? If you look at each one of them, they have ties to al-Qaeda, particularly Mr. Haqqani with the Haqqani network, and most of them pre-9/11 ties as well. We're going to go back to a pre-9/11 state. The only difference is that they have inherited a cache of weapons and cash that we left behind.
Right. Another point you made today during the hearing. I know it was a busy day for you, Congressman Michael McCaul. We appreciate you carving out some time for us tonight.
Thanks so much, Joe.